Thank you for joining us for our Dying Without a Will presentation. My name is Allison. I'm a team member with Barry Law Offices. This video presentation is on the importance of having a healthcare directive in place. There will be a short video story on Charles and his wife Anna and the effect of a car accident on them and their children. Following this short story, Scott Barry will discuss the importance of having a healthcare directive. We at Barry Law Offices would like to thank you for joining us.
Charles did not have a healthcare directive stating his wishes as to what should be done with his body after death. Without this, several issues surrounding his death arose that caused tempers to flare and arguments to ensue. Charles wanted to be an organ donor, yet he had not even found the time to note that on his license. Because he had no healthcare directive or record with the DMV that he wished to donate organs, there was nothing that could be done. There were so many people whose lives could have been changed for the better. Charles's brother and sister fought about whether or not he would be cremated or buried. Of course, Charles's brother argued that cremation would be less expensive, yet his sister knew that Charles would have requested to be buried next to his wife. Once it was settled that he was to be buried, arrangements were further halted due to disagreements about the location where Charles's body would be interred. Because Anna was incapacitated, she was unable to make this decision as well. The family was torn about where Charles's body would be buried because his father, as well as his grandparents, had been laid to rest in a cemetery 2 states away. Yet all of Charles's and Anna's family lived in Minnesota and preferred they be interred in a local cemetery. After a few days, an agreement was made to have Charles buried at the family plot in Nebraska. The decisions did not sit well with some family members. It was the first of many disagreements to come.
You guys passed away. Kind of those end-of-life decisions. The second part is how to handle things while you're still alive. When is life no longer worth living? With your healthcare directive, you can give the healthcare agent the power to determine whether you're buried or cremated, where you're buried, and those type of things. You have the power for them to make a determination in regards to organ donation things. And then again, where you're being interred. These are things, and I had about a year and a half ago, my best friend, who's about my age, passed away. Completely unexpectedly, never thought that was going to happen. And one of the things that his wife came up and told me was, and asked me, was whether he wanted to be buried or cremated. And we never had that conversation, because typically it's not something that guys hang around and talk about, right? So we never had that conversation. But I do believe that if he would have at least done the healthcare directive to say whether he was going to be buried or cremated, that those decisions at that time would have been a lot easier, and I think she would have felt more confident in the decisions that she was going to make. The other thing with the healthcare direction, we'll get into this more in a little while, but our healthcare directives allow you to put an explanation down and what you're thinking. When you're talking about organ donation, when you're talking about burial or cremation, when you're talking about where to be interred, and some of those end-of-life decisions, I think it's important, again, to give those people as much, it's a difficult time, so if you give a lot of information, put as much information as you can, the better off they're going to be making those decisions. I mean, you've heard the cases, the Cherry Shiloh case, that happened down in Florida, where there was a big fight about whether to pull the plug. We'll talk about that a little later, but those are the things that are dealt with through the healthcare directive. We've also seen it where the people that you name as your healthcare agent, okay, so you guys named your daughter, right? So presumably you trust your daughter, right? And she can do everything you want her to do, right?
I'm not sure.
All right. Then we'll have to fix that. But my point being that make sure the people that you appoint as your healthcare agent is going to carry out what you want. Because one of the problems I have seen is that you name someone as a healthcare agent, they have the power to do it, and they don't do what you instruct them to do. And the only way that someone can compel them to do something, to follow the instructions, is to actually bring a lawsuit to compel them to do that. And at that time, most people are like, well, I'm dealing with mom or dad's death, I'm dealing with these things that are happening. I'm not going to bring a lawsuit to throw this glitch into it. But there's a reason that you put these things down. There's a reason that you have it set up the way that you want it. So it's really important that the people that you appoint, the people that you name, are people that are going to absolutely follow the wishes that you want to have done. And that you trust them to do that.